My name is Mike, and this is a plot for the Avengers movie. Act 1. The movie starts off with Iron Man leading a S.H.I.E.L.D. team through a recently bombed lab. They take down and capture an AIM scientist. Stark questions the man, but gets little out of him. Stark is talking with Nick Fury over a radio signal, but stops as he sees a glowing vial that was carried by the AIM scientist. He scans it and sends it to S.H.I.E.L.D., where it is recognized by Hank Pym and his wife, Janet. Hank and Janet are doing a check on the computers, and Janet finds out that all the properties match a formula that a certain general was working on. Hank is disappointed that his wife found the information before he did, and he is disappointed that he could not work faster. Janet gives the news to Nick Fury, who calls General Thunderbolt Ross. Ross is flown into S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, where Henry Pym harshly greets him. It is revealed that Talbot cut Pym's funding to his insect communication research and his bioelasticity project, technology that makes people shrink and grow. Ross tells him that he shouldn't waste his time on that crap and should return to his cybernetics unit he worked in. Nick Fury then comes in to chew Ross out, since AIM somehow managed to get Ross's super soldier formula. Ross looks at the sample Iron Man took and exclaims that it's not a failed formula, it's Bruce Banner's, aka the Hulk's, blood. Nick Fury decides to take precautions. They figure if AIM has the Hulk's blood, there is a good chance that they can duplicate the results in a few years. This means that S.H.I.E.L.D. will need people of Hulk-level strength. So, Nick takes Iron Man to go see Thor. Stark and Fury are unsure if Thor is a genuine article, and Thor treats her concerns as if it's none of his business. After Nick Fury realizes that he can't influence Thor, he walks away, but Tony stays behind. Thor asks Stark why he's doing all these heroics, and he replies that he's not trying to change the world, he's already done that. He's just trying to right some wrongs. When Thor asks Stark why he's with Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D., Stark says he's there to keep an eye on them. Ross calls his men and tells them to move a package to Sector 4, but the convoy is attacked and captured by S.H.I.E.L.D.'s Black Ops unit. Leading its unit is Hawkeye and the Widow. They call Fury and tell him that the package was not Banner, but something that they would not believe. Nick Fury and Ross argue over not revealing what was in the package to the General's base. The General says that the government didn't trust S.H.I.E.L.D., and Fury says that nobody trusts Ross. It's revealed that Ross came across Captain America's corpse while hunting the Hulk a few months back. Just then, Hank Pym barges into the room and says that he's found the Hulk. Fury disbelievingly says that if S.H.I.E.L.D. found the Hulk, someone else would have told him. Pym says S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't find the Hulk, he did, and he pets his funny-looking ant helmet. Fury says that if Pym is mistaken on this, he won't just fire the guy, but bankrupt him as well. The team goes to the Arizona desert, just outside major city limits. Doesn't really matter which city. And they try and calm down the creature. They agree to take the Hulk down strategically. Nick Fury reveals that Janet is able to shrink down to her insect size and grow wings while doing it. Iron Man goes in first and takes off his helmet to try and ensure the Hulk that no one's going to hurt him. One of the Black Ops moves in too quickly though, but Fury refuses to withdraw them. This upsets the Hulk, but Tony thinks everything's under control, until he mentions Banner's name. This causes the Hulk to lose it, and Fury opens fire, making the Hulk go into an all-out rage. This is where a huge battle ensues. Some onlookers with camera crews get shots about the fight. Basically, everyone's in a huge brawl and it looks like they'll lose, until Thor arrives and easily crushes the brute. The Hulk reverts to Banner. Act 2. Back at S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick is debriefing the team, saying how disgraceful and rookie their performance was. He mentions that public relations be damned. He's putting up Black Ops as the team's leader. Just then, someone calls Nick Fury to come down and see something in the hospital. Nick arrives at the hospital room, seeing a barely conscious Captain America, who immediately becomes dangerously paranoid when Nick Fury introduces himself, thinking that this is some sort of Nazi setup. Captain America tries to escape, but realizes that he is in America. Nick tells Cap that they need to talk. Hank and Janet talk about the mission and how Hank is pissed off at Janet for almost getting herself killed. Janet figures out that Henry is more pissed at himself for being next to useless in the field, and he locks himself in his lab. Janet goes to Iron Man, who's talking with Thor. They discuss how they don't like how Nick Fury is leading the team. Iron Man thinks that his armor is working to block S.H.I.E.L.D.'s monitoring devices, but we see Nick Fury is listening in. Hawkeye and Widow are monitoring Banner as Jan is talking to him. She tells him that after the incident in New York City, the one seen in the Incredible Hulk movie, the government doesn't want his blood. They just want to keep everything under check until they find out who leaked Banner's DNA. We see Hank Pym is going through the street to meet somebody in the shady part of town. It turns out to be a leader of AIM. So, Pym hands over the vial after getting paid. But the deal's interrupted by a strike force led by Captain America. A quick battle ensues when Steve tells S.H.I.E.L.D. that he's found the traitor. Pym protests, but gets knocked out by Cap. Nick celebrates by saying they captured the traitor, and that Captain America's first field command was a success. The AIM leader is questioned and leads them to the AIM headquarters, which turns out to be a trap. The Avengers are attacked by super soldier mini-Hulk hybrids. At one point it looks like Thor's about to save the day, but then he's struck down too, by Loki. Loki shifts into Nick Fury's shape and heads over to the Avengers headquarters. Act 3. Hank Pym and Bruce Banner are crossing each other's cells, giving each other exposition. They are interrupted by Loki, who is disguised as Nick Fury, bringing in a super soldier corpse past them. The real Nick Fury and Steve talk about what's going on, and how Cap says he's not sure if he can lead in this new world. Just then, Janet has an idea to get a message to Hank, by communicating through ants. Loki injects a super soldier mini-Hulk with something to make it explode, releasing a bioweapon in the lower levels of headquarters. Ross wants to know what's going on, but Loki knocks him out, and tells the base to get to the lower level and kill everybody who's contaminated. A biohazard cleanup team comes in and starts shooting, but when they get to the cells, they're empty. Banner and Pym are seen escaping, and they take Ross with them. Pym stops by his lab to gather an experiment he's been working on. Shortly after they leave, Loki blows up the headquarters. The escapees are about to be attacked when Hawkeye and the Widow come in to save them. Back in Loki's prison, Iron Man is using his equipment to summon old pieces of armor and some remotely controlled vehicles to blast them to freedom. His plan succeeds. Thor leaves to gather reinforcements. The rest of the team meets up with the ones who escaped from headquarters. Loki watches from a distance and decides to hatch his plan prematurely by releasing his bioweapon all over New York. Nick Fury figures out what Loki's up to, and the team counters the trickster god. A battle ensues, during which Captain America proves his leadership. Banner shows he's more in control when turning into the Hulk, and Ant-Man becomes Giant Man. Nick Fury proves why nobody messes with him, and the Wasp cripples Loki by stinging him in his brain. Then Thor comes down and easily finishes the job. What they didn't realize, however, is that they are too late. Loki released the gas, and the Avengers only have minutes before it reaches the population. Tony figures out the solution. By using Thor's powers, a great funnel moves the bioweapons of gases towards the Hulk. The Hulk uses the radiation in his system to burn and destroy the stuff. The plan works, but makes the Hulk a bit more than unstable. He goes after General Ross, who is defended by Hank Pym as Giant Man. Pym gets taken out pretty easily, but Captain America leads a Black Ops to subdue the Hulk. Ross is about to shoot the Hulk with something, but then the Hulk deflects his shot and it hits Janet, knocking her out of the fight. This shocks the Hulk enough so that Bruce can break through for a bit. He tells him to stop attacking the Hulk and he'll be able to drive it away. Ross gets another shot to fire his gun, but doesn't take it. Bruce turns back into the Hulk and jumps away. Nick Fury looks around and realizes that they've saved the day, but doesn't know if they should even celebrate. Epilogue. The group that took down the Hulk signs a charter. Tony says that after Loki's attack on headquarters, it's best that the group distance itself from the government, only be sanctioned by it, and not run by it. General Ross tells Nick Fury that the cameras caught Loki shapeshifting, and that he's off the hook for any wrongdoing at S.H.I.E.L.D. Fury tells Hank that the Loki version of him told Hank to go undercover and sell materials to AIM as a sting operation. Janet has recovered, but she and Hank decide to leave S.H.I.E.L.D. and recover for a little while longer. Thor says that the petty politics of men are no force for him to be ruled under, but promises Tony that if the world needs his help, he will be there, especially if Loki returns. Captain America feels comfortable being with S.H.I.E.L.D.'s approved team of Avengers. Nick says that if that's the case, he'd like Cap to lead the new team, where the agents, Hawkeye and Widow, are his new crew. Iron Man says he'll stay on as a reserve member. Tony makes a speech, and the film ends.